Okay, let's talk about healthy sexuality. What is healthy sexuality? It is a way for you to build the highest level of physical intimacy with your partner, and it should be enjoyable for both people. It should not be a case where your partner is using you as an object for his own pleasure. The reason I say that is because in unhealthy sexuality that's steeped in sexual addiction, that is many times the case where your partner is looking to sex for self-soothing. Soothing, mood regulation has barely anything to do with sex. And so your partner thinks he feels sexual, but actually he's trying to get a dopamine hit to take the edge off, and he's using you to do that. So helping him to discover his patterns surrounding that, and this is within a relationship that's recovering from unhealthy sexuality. We'll talk about establishing a new relationship in a second. But when that is the case, figuring out what the unhealthy sexual patterns are and breaking them and establishing new healthy ones is key. So if your partner always wants to have sex at 5 a.m. on Monday, and Monday's is a long work day, this is true for many men, and that's why I bring it up. If that's the case, he's using that sexual experience while you're asleep to get that dopamine hit to go into a long work day that's cortisol producing, not dopamine producing. So that is not a sexual experience that is about pleasure, happiness, and connection. I want you to know that. You might choose to still allow him to engage in that with you, and you are there to help him self-soothe, but know that that's what it's being used for. So up in a lesson above, we established a sex agreement where in your relationship you schedule a time. And yes, I know it's difficult to turn it on and turn it off, but if it's a safe time and you have lots of time to build arousal and connection, the point about that is it's not used for mood regulation if it's scheduled. And yes, you could schedule it at a time where you know your partner might need mood regulation more in the short run because that would facilitate arousal, but you're teaching yourself to allow yourself to come down and to be part of this sexual experience and to learn what you like, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, learning to engage in the process in a really healthy way. And what healthy sexuality is, it's a shared experience where everybody's having fun. And it can be give and take, but shared. Not taking, not just giving, shared. And so one of my great mentors says, lights on, eyes open. And that's so that you can always build connection through eye contact, and so that you can see each other and be present in the sexual experience that is at hand, so that your partner doesn't go to fantasy and you don't disengage into work or kids or whatever. You actually stay present and connect with each other. And in what I call vanilla sex, healthy sex aligns your brains to each other, brains attune, your hearts to each other, hearts cohere, and your sexual places in your body so that there's arousal being connected and happening too. So it's connection along all the energy centers in your nervous system, really powerful for spiritual connection. So it creates pleasure, happiness, and connection. So healthy sexuality, you decide what you like, your partner, you talk about what he likes and why, making sure that it's healthy, what you like and why, making sure no one's objectified, make sure nobody's using anybody as an object, and having some fun and enjoying it. Thinking of it as an intimate experience, not something you have to do because you're married, or you're together. Think about what we talked about is exploring your patterns and questioning them, right? All the things that you do, exploring control in your relationship. If it's being misused, think about the sexuality that you've developed in your relationship. What tends to need to happen in these relationships is the men, we'll just use men, but people with a problem with hypersexuality, they're hypersexual. It's compulsive hypersexuality behavior disorder, which means they need lots of sex for mood regulation. That can create in a dynamic is either hypersexuality in a partner who doesn't actually want to have sex all those times. They're just doing it to please their partner in the people pleaser version, or hyposexuality in the partner who goes, I'm not having sex 4 times a week. Forget it. I'm never having sex because there's literally no amount that I can give you that you're going to be fulfilled and pleased. So it can create artificial hypersexuality or hyposexuality, and it throws the dynamics off. So both partners are out here. What has to happen is both of you need to come to the middle. I know it's all about the middle. Your partner's hypersexuality decreases, and he figures out the patterns of how he was using sex to mood regulate. You figure that out too in your sexual relationship with him, but you figure out what you like and you start getting it because you're advocating for yourself now in this program. You're going to explore more things. You're going to become more erotic. You're going to break the shame of sexuality and reestablish connection within it and feel good about it. And so when you do that, you don't have to be hyposexual, because hyposexuality is not good for you. I have friends and people that I've worked with, they're like, you know what, I'm not really that interested in sex. If I never had sex again, I'd be fine. That's not good. That means that your brain is in this hyper aroused, anxious state, and it can't come down enough to be in the moment so that you can engage in intimacy with your partner. It's not healthy. It's an unhealthy sexual pattern, because people are sexual beings. And I know we lose sight of this, and I know you might not want to hear it, but the reality is, if you let yourself come down and you were, moving at the proper pace, and you were excited about what each day holds, and you were on purpose, there would be room for physical intimacy with your partner. And relationships need that. A sexless relationship usually isn't a healthy one. And so developing that and liking it and figuring out what you actually like can be really, really healthy. And it can be the game changer in your relationship. Your partner comes out of hypersexuality, you come out of hyposexuality or out of artificial hypersexuality, and you figure it out. And now you can ride off into the sunset together. I encourage you to do that. I've already told you about the Igniting Hot Erotic Sex After Sexual Addiction. That's a really good book for you to go to. Okay, follow me through. Last module on how you're going to build these amazing routines so that you stay in recovery, you have the fortitude, the strength, and you build healthy behaviors to be able to deal with the stress and anxiety. Plus, you set up a lifestyle so that you can succeed in the long run. I'll see you in the last module.